Hey, I'm Matthew. Let's talk about the biggest lie, the biggest delusion in business over the past 50 years. I think you know what it is. It's customer service, right? Everybody, every company and their dog says they have the best customer service, and that's how they're going to win more customers is because of their amazing customer service, that it's so much better than everyone else. But as a consumer yourself, as a customer yourself, you know that most businesses fail in the customer service measurement in all sorts of ways. Now, I've run a number of businesses. I've had millions of customers around the world, and I've learned some things about customer service over the years. And I tend to think, and I don't think I'm delusional about this, but I tend to think we offer some really good customer service. But and I know this because our customers tell us this, unsolicited, no surveys, nothing. They just come out and tell us this. So that's one way to get some estimate in terms of how well you're doing. But anyway, here's some tips that I've learned. So the number one thing you have to do to make sure that customers are happy is you have to hear them. So customers want to know that they're heard, right? They have an issue, question. The first thing they want to know is, have I been heard? I want to be heard. And so the way you do this as a company is you respond quickly, even if your response doesn't have an answer for them yet. That's very important, because I run into companies and people who think that, well, I can't respond to the customer until I have a solution for them. But that's not the right way to do it. The customer, first and foremost, wants to know that they're heard, because in this world, particularly today, and the world where the world is growing, there's so much noise, you never really know if you're being heard. So the first thing you need to do is just let the customer know, hey, we've heard you. We acknowledge that you've had an issue or you have a question, and we're working on it. And there's automated ways you can do it. There's manual ways you can do it. But that's the first thing, is just let the customer know that they're heard. Before I move on to the second thing, I do want to bring up one other point, is that some companies feel like, they kind of have to apologize for everything. And you'll see this, I've noticed this in some customer service, where you get these ridiculously long apologies, and you can tell they're not genuine in any way. They're just kind of canned apologies. Before they've even done anything for you, they're, these crazy apologies. Anyway, forget about that. As a business, as a service provider, product, whatever it is, you don't necessarily have to accept responsibility for everything. What I mean by that is, a lot of times, something goes wrong, it's not really your fault. That's just the way it is. Sometimes the customer is not following directions or doesn't do what they're supposed to do. Whatever it is, it's not always your fault, and so you don't feel like you have to take full responsibility or blame for everything. However, this is what's important. This is the distinction you have to make. Is you should also always be sorry, even if it's not your fault, even if you're not to blame. You should also always be sorry that the customer has had a bad experience or has had some type of negative issue. That you can 100% always be sorry for. Of course, hoping you're genuine about this. I know I am. I know, if a customer has done something that they weren't supposed to do, and they've had a negative experience that's not my fault or my team's fault or my product's fault, I still feel sorry that they have had a negative experience. I absolutely do not want anyone to have a negative experience. So I think it's perfectly okay and advisable to express that you feel sorry that the customer has had this experience, but you don't necessarily have to accept blame. And I know a lot of times people worry about blame because there's legal liability associated with that too. So what you have to do and consider is, look, just say you're sorry that the customer has had a bad experience, and you could leave it at that. Now, of course, if it is your fault, if it is your product's fault, you may at some point have to absolutely accept blame, and that may be the right thing to do. But initially, without you knowing anything, you can just say, look, I'm really sorry you had that experience. That's all it takes. So we said step one, first and most important thing is make sure the customer has been heard. So then the next thing is the customer wants to know, now that they've been heard, that somebody is making a genuine effort to solve their problem. Making a real, genuine effort to solve their problem. Now, sometimes it may be that you can't solve the customer's problem. So a lot of my business is complex software, and I've been doing it for 25 years. In the days where computers, you never quite knew if they were going to actually run the software properly or not. And, that even exists today because there's so many different devices. And what I found over the years is, on the very rare occasions where my software would not work on the customer's device. Maybe they had a really old computer or something that was just really unusual about the computer. Maybe even had a virus on it, we don't know about it. On those rare occasions where we could not solve the customer's problem, we were still okay with the customer. The customer was still happy with us because we made an effort. They could see that we made a genuine effort to try everything that we could to solve the customer's problem. And I think that's where a lot of companies fall down, is they don't truly make that genuine effort, and the customer can feel it. They can know it. And sometimes maybe you're making the genuine effort, but you're not communicating well to the customer to let them, inform them and help them understand what you've been trying to do to solve the problem. But I have learned that over the years, is as long as you make a genuine effort to solve the problem, in most cases, even if you can't solve the problem, the customer won't be unhappy with you. In some cases, will still be very happy with you. The third thing to consider is no stupid rules. This one's easy, right? No stupid rules. Easy said, not always easily done. What's a stupid rule? Well, the best place to look at that is, airlines, cell phone companies. They often have stupid rules. Look at airlines. It's gotten better over the years with discount airlines kind of applying pressure on the more ingrained airlines, but they sell the same seat 5 different ways, right? And they use all this cryptic code and language, and you may want to change something, and you're at the airport with your ticket, and somebody looks at your ticket and said, "Oh, well, this is an AXY code, and with an AXY code, you can't change on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can only do it on Wednesday." All this ridiculous terms and conditions that are really just designed to make their pricing complex so they can extract more money out of different options, and it just ends up creating stupid rules. That's the best way to describe them, stupid rules. Don't have stupid rules. If you want happy customers, don't have stupid rules. That's not very hard, is it? So that's that's the other thing. And here's the my final tip here, and here's what it all comes down to. If you want to have great customer service, particularly when customers have issues, because everybody's customer service is great when everything goes well. It's when things go wrong that you truly get to know the customer service of the business. And in fact, if you look at a personal relationship with people, it's when things go wrong that you really get to understand somebody's character as well and their integrity as a human. And so the final tip here is always do the right thing, even if it costs you money. Now, that's just a philosophy that I run my business and my life with. I'll always do the right thing, even if it costs me money. And I found that philosophy will always allow me to sleep better at night, because I feel as though I'm always delivering value for my customers, and I'm never doing anything that's contrary to their benefit, contrary to their value. And certainly, I've lost a lot of money adhering to that. Now, maybe the other way to look at it is maybe I've made money because I've had so many satisfied customers that word of mouth has generated more business for me. That's the way I prefer to think about it. But whether that's true or not, that's the philosophy that I live with, is always do the right thing, even if it costs you money. And I will suggest to you that if you want to follow that same philosophy, it will serve you well in terms of your integrity and character and being able to sleep at night, and hopefully even help your bottom line. Anyway, that's some tips on customer service. I'm Mathew Georghiou. Thanks for listening.